Somewhere along the line, almost any channeled source we listen to is going to mention that they belong to one galactic federation and council or another. This is normally presented as a positive thing, and people who are digging into the material feel that there is a chance in the future that humanity may join as well. Then there are others, like the Pleiadians, who don't like galactic federations. They have been channeling their information for almost 25 years, and every so often they get a question about galactic federations. It has come to a point where they get almost irritated and just say, "We are not hot on galactic federations." When I decided to look into these space organizations, I did my best to look at them objectively to see if I could find a connection between some of them, or if they all are separate from the others. What I did was to gather all the different federations and councils I could find out there and listed them. Then I tried to find out which specific group was talking about which council, and if these groups had any relation at all. The result is going to be presented in this paper, a list of galactic federations and councils. This list is far from complete, and I actually looked into more than these, but to save the reader from too much headache, I narrowed it down to those that I found at all significant for us in today's world, many of which we will stumble upon sooner or later in our research if we are into the UFO field. So, here they are, in no specific order: the Council of Zendar Saturn, the Council of Thuban, the Nibiruan Council and the Galactic Federation of Worlds, the Council of Nine, the Galactic Federation of Light, previously only the Galactic Federation, the Ashta Command, the Allies of Humanity, the Greater Community, the Council of 12, the Council of 24, the Elohim Council, the Guardian Alliance, the Andromedan Council, the Galactic Federation, the Confederation of Planets, the Orion Federation, Sirian High Command, the Galactic Federation of Planets, Intergalactic Federation of Sovereign Planets IFSP. As the reader can see, there are a lot of councils and federations, and it seems like a lot to research and perhaps the subject for another 10 papers, but fortunately it's easier than it looks like at the first glance. We have already gained knowledge from the previous papers in level 3, and that will show to be of some significant help. It's also not my purpose to go into each group in detail. All I want to do is to show the connection between them and what effect that may have on us here on Earth. That is the only thing that is interesting at this point. Also, some of the federations listed above are just other names for the same group. As we shall see, I think the reader can see the significance of bringing this up in order for us to distinguish who is who. Something no one, amazingly enough, has done before, from what I know. The galactic federations and councils under the microscope, when we listen to channeled material where they say that they are not part of any hierarchy, and that hierarchies are oppressive and unfair and create different classes of people, most people think that sounds good. However, what I show is that most of these sources belong to a federation, confederation, or a space council of some sort. It looks like no matter which council or federation they are members of, it's a part of a larger hierarchy that is taking us all the way from the bottom, the councils and federations here on Earth, resulting in the Illuminati pyramid, out into the astral, to the next star system, across the whole galaxy and beyond, perhaps ending in the KHAA with the Thuban Council. So let us take a look at these galactic and intergalactic organizations and learn who is who and what is what. The following organizations will be listed in hierarchy order where possible. The first one is therefore the highest federation known to me in a descending hierarchy, the Council of Thuban. This is supposedly the oldest council in the Milky Way galaxy, residing in the 12th dimension, which is outside of the physical universe, in the void. They call themselves dragons, but say they are the good dragons, admitting to that there are lower dimensional Dracos who are not as friendly. Thuban is a star system in the Draconis constellation, and because it's the brightest star, it's called Alpha Draconis. The Thubans say that they are a big part of our ancient history and participated in the early seeding of our planet. They are supposedly the ones who planted the reptilian brain into our mammal brains. They claim to be in service of the one creator. All star races are, whether they are good or bad. Wes's comment, and say that the Sirians are humanity's best friends. The reason they have contacted us here on Earth at this time is because they are allegedly in charge of the harvest, Abraxas. who is a High Council member and a walk-in, is telling us that the Thubans need to genetically manipulate Homo sapiens into becoming dragonized star humans, ready to approach the fifth dimension. It has to be done with technology, and this is the way God intended it to be. According to Abraxas, there is no such thing as natural ascension happening without interfering with, and genetically manipulate. An ascending species is the natural way. She says, all star races who promote the harvest are in one way or another talking about a superwave heading towards Earth. Some say it originates from the galactic center, others say it originates nowhere. It's always been there and will always be. The harvest and the ascension will happen when this wave, upon which 200 million star beings ride, reaches our solar system. Those who have 51% or more of their heart chakras open are potential graduates. Many of those who have not at all prepared themselves and know nothing about what's about to come down will have their neurological systems fried and they will die in the process. Others will go through extreme hardship with strange weather phenomena and sickness, but some will still survive. Those who are ready to ascend, however, will feel very little discomfort, but instead feel great joy, and for a short moment under the transition from 4D to 5D they will feel the oneness with the whole universe, which is an indescribable euphoric feeling. The Thubans say that they are us in the future, but also our ancestors, the ferocious dragons. They claim that the whole universe consists of only humans in different stages of development. Due to that time is simultaneous in a fluid multiverse. Earth is now being visited by our future selves in form of the Greys, who are here to steal our DNA in order to regain their emotionality and personalities, both of which they lost along the way. In the machine kingdom we humans are about to create for ourselves in our present now. In other words, there are no other aliens in the universe except humans in different stages of development. This is what the Thubans are teaching, and this is what most other channeled sources and galactic federations are teaching us as well, although most people ignore that fact and don't even notice it. Whether this is true or not is something time will show. We need more evidence in order to once end for all establish this as the truth, but I must say that in the light of evidence based on intensive research, it looks like this could be the case. Thuban guardians will wait for those who are due to ascend and will transport them to the correct place in the astral where they can obtain their 5D bodies which are there for them, ready to use. And here is the confusion: will the person incarnate as an adult in an adult body, or will this super enhanced body be placed as a fetus in an impregnated Earth woman for the 5D human to incarnate in? We don't know, because we never get any clear answer to this. We get the impression, however, that the harvest may happen between lives but can also take place while the spirit is still incarnated. Our friends and neighbors will still live around us even if they don't ascend, but those who ascend will vibrate on a much higher frequency, and after a few generations, those who don't progress cannot hold the higher frequencies, and that's when the splitting of the world will take place. The Council of 24, in 1973, J.J. Hurtak wrote a book he called The Keys of Enoch. It is laid out like the Bible with chapters and verses, like it was meant to become a substitute for the Bible. The author says the material therein is channeled from a source he mentions on occasions as the Council of Nine. We will go much deeper into that council later in this paper. Anyway, in the Keys of Enoch in the glossary, below image it says, the 24 are the council governing spiritual civilizations in the Sun universe, which is not to be confused with the 24 elders. The Sun universe is defined as the universe of Christ, and Christ as we know him is no one less than Enki himself. In the Thuban hierarchy, the Council of 24 is an assisting council to the Thubans in the lower 9th to 11th dimensions. The RA material mentions the Council of 24 as well. There are 24 entities which offer their services as requested. These entities faithfully watch and have been called the Guardians. According to RA, the Council of 24 is also part of the Confederation, the Council of 12. There appear to be several different councils of 12. If we start by continuing the Thuban hierarchy in a downward fashion, the Council of 12 is a lower council than that of the 24. The Elohim mention them as well in Winfrey's ebook in the conversation that follows. Do you report to a group that is higher than yourself regarding delegation, of functioning, or of oneness? We report to, and receive. Guidance from the Council of 12. Is the Council of 12 a higher density than you? Do they administrate this realm, which is lower in density? They administrate more than one realm. They administrate their own realm of the Elohim, the different levels within the Elohim and the different jobs the Elohim provide. The repairing of life models would be one example. Healing in response to prayer is another section. The Council of 12 does not directly administrate Earth. They are a group of 12 highly evolved individual souls who administrate the Council of Elohim, who then, due to their functions, connect directly with Earth and other realms. Is the Council of 12 overseeing this communication that we are having at this moment? We do coordinate through the Council of 12, and we receive advice and counsel from them. Are we speaking to an individual soul who represents the entire group, or do we have a portion of the group present with us? A portion of the group is present. Yesterday you had one individual come in at one point, the passionate individual who was also a member of the Council of 12. How many souls in the Elohim are paying attention to us right now as we do this communication? 1,200, 1,200, and there's a total of 5 million, that's about right. This means that the Council of Elohim, although claiming to be the creator gods of this universe, has quite a few councils above them in the hierarchy. In the book of Job, it says that the 12 are sons of heaven working with Yahweh to supervise the creation and regeneration of the lower world. Job 38:3-7. This is a pretty interesting quote, because with the knowledge we now have gained, it's easy to see that the sons of heaven are the patriarchal Sirian alliance, who are creating and maintaining the status of the lower world, which would be us. Yahweh in this case is Enki, the Orion star being. Zechariah Sitchin also mentioned the Council of 12 in reference to the Anunnaki Sirians, and he talks about the gods who sit or sat on that council. They were Anu and his wife Untu, Nin-Her-Sag, Ishkar, Enlil, Ninlil, Enki, Ninki, Nanner, Ish.Kur, Utu, Inanna, Marduk, Ninurta, Nergal, Ning-Ish-Siddhathoth. We are now down to the fourth order of archetypes. I'm not sure how Sitchin counted, but when I count, the above group adds up to 16, not 12, but they could have been on rotation. Dr. A.R. Borden, and his Life Physics Group California, LPGC, which was dissolved in the beginning of 2013, claimed there are about 300 earthbound Anunnaki Sirians trapped here now, and the self-proclaimed king of this group is Marduk, Lord Enki's son, Enki, having 100% Orion genes, but his wife being Sirian, made their offspring, Marduk, an Orion-Sirian hybrid. However, this earthly Orion-Sirian council differs a little bit from Sitchin's council with the same name, and the member do also. In the LPGC version, many seats are held by unknown Anunnaki. The number after the name indicates the rank of the person, where 60 is the highest, indicating the king. Marduk proclaimed himself to that title, Marduk 60, Zarpanit 55, Nabu 50, Unknown 45, Jabil 40, Nuscum 10. I also included this table in level I. Here, the odd numbers were females, and the even numbers were males. Someone has hidden all female participants except one, which is quite peculiar. Zarpanit, the female who is mentioned, was a mortal human woman, whom Marduk married here on earth and who later died from defects coming with higher age. Nuscum, surprisingly enough, says Borden, was a servant to Enlil. It seems quite obvious that we on this level in the hierarchy are touching on the fourth order archetype, which more or less is the Sirian alliance. They seem to have their hands on the Council of 12, according to more than a couple of sources. However, according the Andromeda and Council.com, the Council of 12 consists not only of members of the Sirian alliance, but of different star races. This, however, would make sense in regards to the earthbound, as the Council of 12, which Borden claims was set up entirely by Marduk, if Sitchin was correct, and the Council of 12 actually consists of members of the Sirian alliance, we have in that case a direct connection between the Council of Thuban, the Ra material, and the Sirian alliance itself. I have reasons to believe that there is indeed a connection, and that Sitchin in this case was correct, because the book of Job is quite telling. and more evidence which will be revealed later in this paper will strengthen that theory. If we go back to Winfrey's Elohim group, the Elohim are of course mentioned in the Bible, and most non-Christians researchers today are in agreement with that the Elohim in the Bible are the Anunnaki, or the Sirian Alliance, as I call them, Win and his group, however, deny this and say that their Elohim are of a much higher rank than that, because they are the creator gods of this entire universe. Well, I have to agree with Win's group here, because they are probably telling it as it is. However, Win's group are not totally aware of what it is the Elohim are saying. First of all, when they are talking about the Elohim being the creator gods of the universe, we are still talking about the 4% universe we humans are aware of. The Elohim may claim that they are the creators of the universe, and in that respect, they are not lying, they are just manipulative. Evidence points in the direction that the Elohim channeled by Win's group are the Sirian Alliance. In fact, that is exactly what the Elohim themselves are telling us. If they are taking advice from the Council of 12, they are saying that the 12 are more knowledgeable than they are, and thus higher up in the hierarchy, and evidence is showing us quite clearly that the Council of 12 is run by the Fourth Order archetype, which is the Sirian Alliance. See previous paper on the Alpha Draconians, where the archetypes are discussed in depth, the Andromedan Council, the Council of 12. So, here we have another Council of 12, apparently, unless Sitchin's description of a council with the same name is false or this Andromedan one is. For our purpose, it's almost irrelevant, as we shall see, because even here in the Andromedan list of membership planets, the Sirians are mentioned. So the connection is still there. The following is from the Andromedan Council. This is what Talik, an Andromedan contact, says about the Council of 12. The Andromeda Council is an intergalactic governance and development body of aligned benevolent star systems and planets of sentient intelligent life, 4 worlds in both the Milky Way and Andromeda galaxies. The chaired members of the Andromeda Council comprise a total of 12 distinct representative council member races. The council has a non-voting chairman from the star system Zenitai, planet Tishtai, a non-voting vice-chairwoman from the star system Merak, planet Tiriel. The Merak star system and planet Tiriel are located in the Milky Way galaxy, though they can be seen from Earth as being in the Andromeda constellation. The Zenitai star system itself is physically located in the Andromeda galaxy. These two people, as many on the Andromeda Council, live and vibrate in a 4th dimension density reality. There are also some 3D, 3rd dimensional like Earth, 5D, 5th dimensional, and 6D, 6th dimensional people that are members of this governance body as well. There is 1 council member per seat. There are living accommodations on the primary Andromeda Council biosphere, where these meetings are held, for the people who live in all of these dimensions of life. Many of the member races of the Council are acknowledged throughout the universe to be some of the same races that originally seeded Earth hundreds of thousands of years ago, as evidenced by the variety of humans on the planet today. It is said these races have already been through the process of transformation, of upliftment, the elevated vibration, density, and spiritual consciousness of the 4D, 4th dimension. Members of the Andromeda Council are from the star systems and planets listed below: Arcturus, planet, Pitola, Antares, planet, Nakoti, M103, planet, Ligola, Procyon, planet, Kaina, Vega, planet, Percula, Capella, planet, Persia, Polaris, planet, Ventra, Sirius A, planet, Talca, Deneb, planet, Rital, Tau Ceti, planet, Zeta, Alhena, planet, Digarath, Betelgeuse, planet, Etorth, Figure 1, the symbol of the Andromedan Council. They are reassuring us that once we are getting visited from certain planets, where the Sirian Talca is one of them, it's going to be fun here on Earth. Oh, I bet it will. They are also inviting us to the Galactic Federation of Light, which is an obvious Sirian Federation, which we will see once we get to that section. The above Andromedan Council contact can be found here, and is not the same contact as Alex Collier has had. Apparently, on Collier's website, Collier says he has been in Contact with a group who calls themselves the 11, Collier is not as obvious to figure out as many of the other contactees of galactic federations and councils. I can understand how he could be so popular in the 1990s and during the first decade of the new millennium, because there is a lot of truth in what the Andromedans told him. Alex Collier is referring to the Andromedan Council as a political body, like a United Nation of the Milky Way galaxy. Andromeda in this case does not refer to the Andromeda galaxy, but the Andromeda star constellation. Here are a few key points that Alex Collier wants to point out regarding the Council and what they have had to say to him. The Council consists of 133 representatives of planetary systems and races. It has operated for thousands of years under strict codes and guidelines of conduct. The Council is not coming down here to save us. They don't think we would benefit from that, and instead we should work on our own ascension, which is happening from within. Some wait for some Ashta command to come down and save us, but that is not going to happen. In fact, they add, the Pleiadians are looking for Ashta, because he is considered a space pirate in their eyes. More about the Ashta command soon. They say that the Ashta command are responsible for much of the bad things that have happened here on Earth, a lot of it, and I agree. The Greys want to have a soul, but they don't. In 1994, there were 72,000 walk-ins on the planet, so this is like the front runner. Their hope is that the total will be 144,000, and that these 144,000 souls, or walk-ins, will be able to stir enough change, that they themselves may not have to physically intervene, and therefore the integrity of non-intervention maintains itself. In other words, they don't have to violate their own laws, because now it's us doing it. It's a human in a human form. The Andromedans are offering this opportunity. They hope that 553 million souls or more will ask them for help. Once they know the whole picture, then something can be done. Here we have the 144,000 mentioned again. Be prepared, because we are going to hear this number over and over again. Wes Collier also confirms what Abraxas said regarding the 12th dimension, albeit Collier is calling it the 12th density. Same thing. In an article from 1995, Collier says, "Do you remember in one of the earlier lectures, we talk about the new vibration? The new color sound vibration that is coming out of the black holes, which the Andromedan has referred to as the new 12th density, 12th creational density. I have some information that Moraine has relayed to me regarding the changes that occurred on the 11th and now the 10th. Now this is the highest consciousness dimensional realm in our universe. This, of course, depends on how we look at it. After the vortex opened, Collier calls it a black hole. It may seem like the 12th dimension suddenly is a part of our universe, but it's not. This is clearly explained by Abraxas in the previous papers. It's still a confirmation. He also gives us an idea for whatever it is worth when the wave will come, but the last time I asked this question, which was approximately a year ago, they said that between 435 and 510 million people would literally move to 5th density, December 3rd, 2013. Now I have to tell you, I'm a bit confused regarding this number, and it's not that I don't believe them, it's just that there are many psychics and other ET races that discuss 2024, 2031, other numbers like this, according to the Andromedans, and I can only give you that because that's all I have contact with. They said that by December 3rd, 2013 the planet and the race will be in 5th density, but I'm not going to tell you about 5th density yet. We're going to talk about 4th density. Now, according to them, the planet has tried to get into 4th density with humanity on it twice before, and twice before, there was a terrific and terrible war. The last time was when Atlantis sank. Like I said, the Andromedans have mixed up dates and numbers before, so let's not take it too seriously, and especially as this was predicted 19 years ago, it still sounds like a possible guideline. Here is something, however, that comes directly from Collier himself, and I find that quite insightful. There is still going to be people who don't understand what is happening. There are still going to be people clinging to their religions and begging for someone to come and save them. And they may in their own way create that, they may create a savior, and for those of you who are new here, The Andromedan perspective is, don't wait for anybody to save you, be your own savior, because that's the only way you permanently evolve. I think he is absolutely right here. People on Earth are going to create their own savior. The archetypes are already here, so it's been worked on behind the scenes. I am talking about Maitreya now. These are the times when all probabilities are played out in a cacophony of alternatives. Take your pick and go for it. But it's not always going to be that way. It needs to be that way now so that people can live out and discharge their timelines. It's not even necessary that all probabilities are played out in full. Some can be started and then abandoned.